Hey everybody, welcome back to Heartland Productions. I was lucky enough to receive this pizza sauce to test out from Bianco di Napoli. This is the exact same sauce they use at their Pizzeria Bianco for their New York style pizzas. And in honor of that, I'm actually going to try for the very first time in my Gozney Dome and my Pizza Party Emozione. I'm going to try to do 2 thin crust pizzas to get them extra crispy and top them with this wonderful sauce. Let's see how it goes. Don't forget, if you haven't already right now, go ahead and subscribe and hit the notification button. So what I'm doing to get the pizza thin and crispy, well, again, I've never done this before, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and turn the burner down. Now I've waited till the stone got to 600 degrees Fahrenheit. Now I'm gonna go ahead and turn the burner all the way down to low. I'm gonna turn the burner all the way down to low. And then I'm going to cook the pizza like that. So I'm going to cook the pizza for a few minutes at low. Try to keep it around that 550 to 600 degrees Fahrenheit. So right now it's at 730 because I just turned it down. So once it gets down below around 600 or so, I'm going to start cooking. I'm also going to cook a thin crust, crispy style, kind of a hybrid in my Pizza Party Emozione oven. So I just turned it on a few minutes ago. I have the burner on high. The stone just reached 600 degrees. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this down to low also, just by doing this, pushing in, turning it to the small flame. You can see now it's a low flame. That way I'm going to try to be able to cook the pizza without burning the top, get the bottom nice and crispy. I am using actually some of my biga dough, my normal Neapolitan biga dough. These are some dough balls that I had froze. So I took them out of the freezer last night. I let them thaw in the refrigerator overnight, and now they've been setting out at room temperature for a couple hours, so they should be ready. I'm using shredded cheese today. So a lot of people are like, oh, why are you not using fresh? It's fine to use shredded cheese, but the trick is don't use just regular store-bought cheese that comes in a package. It's gonna have all kinds of preservatives. It's gonna have at a minimum cellulose powder in it to keep it from caking, which does reduce the flavor. And when it's not fresh, you're not going to have that real rich creamy taste. So this, I went and bought a block of low moisture mozzarella from my local store, and I hand shredded this morning. And actually, I say hand shredded, I have an attachment for my KitchenAid mixer. I'll put a link below. If you haven't seen me use it before, it's great. It literally takes seconds to shred wonderful mozzarella cheese. So again, this is freshly grated low moisture mozzarella. I just have some semolina flour to stretch. I have some pecorino romano. This is great. This adds a little saltiness, a little nuttiness to it too. You can use Parmesan if you don't have this. And I'm going to use the sauce, like I mentioned, the New York style sauce from Bianco di Napoli. Looks like the oven's just about ready. Always sprinkle a little semolina in first. You don't want to disrupt the air in the dough. You spend all that time making it and getting it fermented. Kind of unstick it gently first. There we go. See how it came right out? Put that face down, top side down. Cover that back up. Like I said, I kind of a traditionalist. I usually only make regular Neapolitan style. Put the top side down. So what I'm going to try to do today, I'm using my same dough. I'm just going to push as much air out as possible. I'm not going to save the cornicione. Usually I'd be very careful about the outside to not squish the air out, but today I actually want to squish the air out to get it as thin and crispy as possible. So I'm going to kind of do my same. I'll flip it over. I'm going to go all the way past the edge and really get the dough. Oh, it almost breaks my heart to see the air going out and popping. Going to stretch this a little bit. I was on the fence if I wanted to use a rolling pin, but this time I'm going to try it without a rolling pin. I'm just going to try just flattening it out with my hands, see if that works. Again, I'm trying to get all the air out. I'm using my bigger peel today. I have a 14-inch peel that I use that I got from Pizza Party. So I like my dome peel a lot, but it's 12-inch peel. So I'm going to use the Pizza Party one. If you guys do thin crust style a lot, leave a comment below. I'd love to hear kind of suggestions if you guys recommend kind of using a rolling pin, or do you guys do it by hand also like this? Yeah, it just feels very wrong doing this. I'm sure it's going to taste good. I mean, I've eaten thin crust obviously, so it just feels very weird. Like I say, I use this dough. I spend a lot of time and effort getting the dough, the crust to fill with air, and get the glutens all right. Just to crush it down like that kind of breaks my heart. The dough actually, for frozen dough, this is pretty amazing. I mean, these are, the sauce comes right out. I'll squirt just a little bit on, about half a pack, I think. Half a package. We'll test that out first. So I'm going to sprinkle some pecorino cheese on it. Some of the fresh ground shredded mozzarella. And I'm also going to put a little bit of pepperoni. These are some cool little, the kids like these little mini pepperonis. They're kind of fun too. Add some of those. Like I said, I'm going to be doing two. The first one's going to be in the Gozney Dome. Like I said, I typically do Neapolitan, so this is the first time kind of doing a slower cooked on a lower heat. I'm also going to do the exact same pizza on the Pizza Party Emozione, see which one I like better for this style of pizza. A lot of you have asked me to do this. You can do bigger pizzas in both ovens. I think the Emozione is a little better for bigger pizzas, a little easier to launch a bigger pizza, but you can do, I'd recommend no bigger than a 14-inch peel for the dome, so you can do at least this size pizza. You could probably do a little bit bigger if you really tried, just a little more challenging. I'm saying this is my Pizza Party peel. It's 14 inches wide in diameter, basically. I don't have to worry about the cornicione or the crust. It's the one benefit of this style. Try to get it as nice and round as possible. Whatever it looks like here is the way it's going to stay. Okay, let's launch this bad boy in the oven. Perfect. Also going to go ahead and set a timer. Like I say, the flame's still on low. The oven's just at a little bit over 600 degrees right now. Like I mentioned, the stone, I waited till it was at 600, then I turned it to low. The pizza's doing fine. Nothing's burning, that's a good sign. It's so bright out, it's hard for me to see. Okay, it's just been about 6 minutes or so. I'm going to kind of pull it out a little bit, check the bottom. Starting to crisp up a little bit. I don't know if you can see the black spots. Let's see the whole thing. Oh, it's looking good. Put it back in. I'm starting to think, again, I'd love to hear your comments too. Should I heat it up and get the stone even hotter? I'm afraid the top's going to start burning, even though it's on low heat, the burner. That I'm not sure if it's going to get crispy enough. So in hindsight, I'm thinking I should have had the stone up almost like I do with Neapolitan, maybe up to that 750 to 850 degrees, then turn the burner down to make sure that the bottom gets really crispy. We'll wait and see. Like I said, it's been just about 7 minutes now, and the oven's now at about 530 degrees. Wanted to zoom in so you could see the bottom. You can see that. It's starting to crisp up, not quite as much as I wanted though. It's been about 9 minutes, oven's still holding at 530. I'm gonna turn it just a little bit. Oh yeah, getting much crispier. I'm gonna turn it just a bit. You can see that. Oh, look at that. Oil from the cheese and pepperoni dripping off, making a mess. It is really crisping up now. 12 minutes in. Let's take a little look. Oh yeah, getting much crispier now. The outside's getting nice and charred. I think just another minute or two. Probably me never doing this before, meaning I'm having to take it in and out of the oven. That's about the 4th time I've taken it out to look at it. Probably slowing the process down. Like I mentioned a few minutes earlier, I think if I do this again, I'll heat the stone up a little more, and I think I could probably get this done easily between 7 and 8 minutes instead of 12 minutes where I'm at right now. It's been just about 14 minutes. I think that is good. Look at that. Crispy on the top. Let's take it over here. I think I overcooked it just a smidge. It looked fine. Here in Texas, it's crazy hot. Well, for my first thin crust pizza in the dome, I think it turned out pretty well. I got a little distracted, like I mentioned, our electricity shut off, and it doesn't seem like a big deal, but here in Texas, when it's over 100 degrees out, that can be a huge thing. So let's see. Again, look how firm and crispy it is. No sag at all. The bottom, nice and crispy. Outside, let's see. Hear the crunch. I'm gonna cut it in smaller pizzas so I can share it. I'm kind of excited about this. I'm not gonna eat too much because I gotta make another one in the Emocione right now. Okay, let's try this out. Pretty good, nice and crunchy on the bottom. I love how the cheese, the kind of that char on the cheese makes it super crunchy on top too. All in all, pretty good. It took about 14 minutes. So, like I said, I think I can do it a little bit better next time. Now I had to know some more tricks. I'll get the stone a little hotter before I turn it down, probably maybe around 600 to 700 degrees. Get that stone right. This time I had it around 530, probably the stone, and the oven stayed around 530, 600. So I think I could do a little better, but all in all, 14 minutes, super crispy. Turned out really great. This is about a 14-inch pizza. Test it out. Again, the burner is on low. The stone is just around 600 degrees also. To make things fair, we're going to replicate the exact same pizza that we just made with the dome. Make sure it's 100%. There's Tico chasing the squirrel. So we get the dough ball out. Sprinkle a little bit of semolina. Make sure we don't disrupt it. I'm so used to being careful to keep it okay for the Neapolitan. It doesn't make as much difference with this one, but there we go. Top side down. I'll get that out of the way. A little semolina on the table, a little on top. Again, the idea of this is to get all the air out. I'm not worried. I know it just breaks my heart, like I said last time, but has to be done for the thin crust. Flip it over. We don't want the air bubbles. Stretch it out a little bit. We're shooting for that 14-inch, give or take. Go ahead and get this one sauced like we did last time. Again, we're using the same sauce, the Bianco di Napoli New York style sauce. This is basically just organic tomato puree. I think it has organic oregano and sea salt. That's it. Again, we'll do the pecorino, fresh mozzarella. Cue Tico barking again. It's all right. You guys don't mind him barking, I'm sure. All right, a little mozzarella. And a little pepperoni like the last one. Although I had learned a little bit about doing the one in the dome, I'm going to do this one exactly the same. So I'm not going to change my method, even though I think I know a little bit better way to do it. Just to make it 100% fair. Let's get this pizza on the peel and in the oven. Let's go ahead and get this in the oven. All right, 14 inches. There we go, in the oven. I'm gonna go ahead and set the timer too. All right, it's just been about 3.5 minutes, 3 minutes or so. Checking the bottom. Give it a little turn just to see. Kind of like I did the other one. I'll pull it out a little bit, let you see it. I just realized that the audio wasn't working for the last 5 minutes. This pizza is done, so I'm going to take it out now, put it on the cooling rack. Nice and crisp, it's done sag. Look at the bottom, nice and cooked. Let's cut this up. All right, let's give it a try. That's a great pizza also. Nice and crispy. Again, I love the little bit of char on the top of the cheese. The bottom's nice and crisp. I hope you can hear that crunch. That's delicious. So if you're thinking about getting this Pizza Party Emozione and you're wondering if you can do a thin crust or a New York style to get it a little bit crispier, I think you can do it without a doubt. I would recommend heating it up past like 600, well, actually around 750 degrees Fahrenheit. Then launch the pizza, turn the burner all the way down to low and let the bottom cook up like that. I would do that. It took about 8 minutes and 14 seconds. Again, I was checking a lot because I was filming. Going forward, I think you could probably do it in 6 to 8 minutes, probably is a pretty good norm, but it turned out amazing. Great oven for thin crust New York style. Also, if you're thinking about getting a Gozney Dome or you already own a Gozney Dome and you want to do a thin crust or a New York style pizza, this pizza turned out amazing also. There was a little bit more of a learning curve with this one. I think I need to heat it up a little bit more to get this stone a little hotter than the Pizza Party, but I think the next time I'll have it dialed in perfectly. So if you do have a Gozney Dome, I would recommend heating it up hotter, get the stone maybe above 750 degrees Fahrenheit before you turn the burner to low. I think that way the bottom would have got a little crispier before the top started getting a little burnt. So that's my only lesson learned. I think the next time it's going to be perfect. Without a doubt, either one of these ovens, whether it's the Gozney Dome or the Pizza Party Emozione, they both make amazing thin crust pizzas also. Good to know. Thanks again for watching. So now that I've had a little bit more time to go inside and eat some more of the pizza, I'm going to have to say I think the Pizza Party Emozione pizza turned out a little better. The crust was cooked a little better and it was a little more balanced. It's hard to say exactly because I learned some of the mistakes I made using the dome, so I'll have to do it again. But giving my first impressions, I think the Emozione probably won on a slightly better cook for the thin crispiness. Thanks for watching.